Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and I'm going to walk through basically my experience with Onto. Onto, if you didn't know, is a electric car subscription service, and I wanted to go through a few elements about my experience with them so far, how long I've been with them, what car I got with them, and generally the overall experience. So if you're thinking about going a car lease option, and specifically Onto, then this may be a handy little guide of what to expect. There is also a link below as well, £50 off discount as well. If you do decide to go to Onto, then use that and you get yourself a little bit of money off as well. Anyway, so why did I go to a car lease or a car lease subscription like Onto? Now, there's a few out there at the moment. I think there's one with Elmo and Onto, the main ones that I knew about. I've seen Onto in a few different places. I'd seen them at the Fully Charged show and a few advertisements and things like that. At the time, which was about 6 or 7 months ago, my car had about a year left in terms of a loan, and I was paying I think at the time almost £500 a month on the loan. And then on top of that, I had car insurance, normal servicing costs, which weren't a lot, but they were there, and then electric costs for public charging because I don't have home charging. And it got to the point where car prices had shot up in terms of EVs and second-hand ones specifically. I decided to sell my car, my BMW i3, and get something else. At the time, there wasn't much else out because of car shortages and part shortages and all that sort of stuff. And I had a look around, and Onto seemed a logical way of doing it. I don't really see the need to own a car anymore. To me, it's moved more towards almost like a mobile phone type business and model, where you just lease something. Yes, for a mobile phone, you do actually end up owning it, and you don't in this case, but it's a tool at the end of the day for you to get from A to B for the majority of the time. I'm not sort of married to a car and passionate about the actual car itself. I just want to make sure it's a good car and it's functional and it's worth getting. So when I changed over, went to Onto, and at the time I had a referral from I believe one of the YouTubers. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I'd used the referral, so I got a bit of money off. And I looked at the range. Now, the range of cars that Onto offer, there's a reasonable amount. I wouldn't say it is exhaustive. They are getting more and more as the months go on. Anything from a Zoe or one of the new Fiats, all the way up to a Tesla. So there is a range there. There's still some things fundamentally missing. I'm looking at things like the MGs and stuff like that. So there's a few models missing, which I'd like them to see them get on there. But I decided, mainly because of I was selling my car, wanted to go on a lease. That seemed the logical sort of thing without having a massive upfront cost as well. One of the benefits of Onto is that there's no big upfront cost of 2 or 3 months of lease. It's you pay your first month, that's it, and away you go. I found the process to be very straightforward. It was go on the website, pick a car, and the cars are, it's good because they actually put real world range rather than what the WLTP range is, which means that you get a more realistic view of the kind of car that you want. Obviously, you have to go out and have a look at maybe other videos and stuff like that about the actual car, and it's always worth still seeing if you can get a demonstration car from a dealer, so you get an understanding and a bit of a feel for it. If you're not worried about that, it's go on, pick your car. It's a monthly lease, which means you're not committed beyond that, and you can change it any time. There is a small admin charge, I believe about £80 or £90 to actually change your car if you want to, so that's worth bearing in mind. But you put in all your details, put your bank details in, sign up to the month contract, And you can choose whether it's a rolling contract and it doesn't get reminded, or a month at a time, and they'll keep reminding you saying, do you still want to lease the car? When I started 6 months ago, it's worth noting that I went from, like I said earlier in the video, I went from £500 a month on a loan. At the time, this was, I think it was 370 for a Renault Zoe, which is pictured here. GT spec line, so really good, over 200-mile range, everything I needed, etc. And 1,000 miles a month mileage, which was perfect. With that, you also get a BP charging card, a Instavolt charging card, and essentially a Shell charging card. And you can use them in a vast array of different chargers, and that's generally what I use. So you cut out all that cost in terms of charging, public charging as well, which now is going to be more expensive, so that's quite handy. And insurance is all included in as well. So I've cut down on my electric money I was paying. I cut out my insurance money, and my loan was significantly reduced, as well as pocketing some money on my previous car. So once I signed up and got out, the process of them delivering it, literally they delivered to an address that you choose. They delivered it to my work, checked it over like you would any other normal lease, and then they handed the keys. The person walked off. I jump in the car and that's it. Away you go. Nice and easy and straightforward. They gave you the charge cards and things like that. But yeah, really quick, really easy, friendly service, etc. So that side of it was really good. So I'm now, I've just literally gone my 6 month sort of period of that I've been leasing with Onto so far, and I'll say on the majority of the whole, it's been a really good experience. I haven't really had to contact them much at all. When I have contacted them, they've been pretty responsive. There is a few things that I don't like, and maybe once we buy our house and we get to a point where I can then either go to a normal lease or buy a car, that's what we'll do. But for now, it suits my needs. So the price has significantly gone up from 370 to 450. So that's a big increase. The reason for that is they're saying the overall sort of costs of living and costs of running stuff and all the other stuff that comes out of companies. That's what they said. But what hurt the most was they reduced the 1,000-mile mileage down to 750. So luckily I had topped up a couple of times, and you can top up on a monthly basis with certain ones. I think it's £40 for 250 miles, £80 for 500 miles, and so on. So you can do that, and that will roll over for a maximum of 12 months. So I have topped up a couple of times in that respect. If I know I'm going to do bigger journeys or I'm going to need a bit more, I've done that. One to note, and one that I fell foul of, was basically that what it won't do is that if you run out of miles, what you can't do is top it up and immediately that adds to your balance. It will only go to the following month. So I tried that. I think I got down to like 10 miles or something like that, and I thought, well, better top up. Topped up another 250 miles. That didn't go on there and then, it went on the next month, and then I got charged for the excess mileage, which is I think it's 40p a mile. So that cost me more than what the actual mileage did. I'd like to see them change that. I'd like to see that if you get down to, I know, 200 miles or something like that, and you know you're going to need more, that you can just top up and it'll be there, and it'll be taken there rather than not being able to do that. I'd like to see the 1,000 miles come back. I think, to be honest, I think that was completely unfair. Considering as soon as I started the subscription, about a month or two into that, they decided to change it. Again, quoting electricity prices and etc. etc. I just think it's a shame. Their deal of 1,000 miles is a perfect amount for everyone, and considering they then upped the cost of it as well, that didn't sit right with me. And I think other than that, to be honest, the service has been spot on. The cars, like I said, the different cars are coming. I'm really hoping they add the MG ZS and maybe the MG4 in the future. I'll be very interested to see the MG4 on there and go on to that. I mean, theoretically, it should be a similar price to the Zoe. But yeah, in general, I think ONTO are really good. I think there's some changes they really need to go back to. I think some of the pricing is a little bit harsh. I hope that they don't decide to up that, because that will change my decision moving forward. And I think short term, maybe for the next year, it's probably going to be fine. Longer term, then it'll be something else. Now, a lot of people use ONTO as maybe a short term thing. I don't. This is my permanent car. But I'll be looking around, I think. But they have got a bit of the market corner. I don't think some of the other lease companies really have the mileage thing built in, or the charging built in and stuff like that. I like it because it's, you pay one price, you haven't got to worry about anything else. You know, the servicing is all dealt with. You just have to phone them up and get it booked in. Tyres and all that sort of stuff exactly the same. And then, like I said, insurance, charging, and everything else is built in. So, you know, it makes sense to be all bundled together. I just wish they hadn't gone as harsh. I mean, I can see maybe another 40 or 50 pounds a month, that, but then when you then cut the mileage by 250 miles, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, don't forget to do all the like, share, and subscribe stuff. Like I said, if you do, or you are interested in getting onto ONTO, I'll put a link below. Use the referral code. I'll get a bit of a kickback. You get 50 quid off your initial lease. Everyone wins. Until next time, thanks very much for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.